But in Pyongyang, I remember every morning this huge song comes out from every radio and we all get up the same time. So in North Korea, there's like no school bus. We all have to walk. What this is like, this is a rabbit food. You know, this is not what I escaped for. And why are you eating rabbit food for like 10 bucks? It's so expensive. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am a North Korean refugee and living in America. I work as a human rights activist. Today in this video, I am going to talk about something you have been long requesting. So many of you have asked me, how does a daily life look like in North Korea? So finally, I am doing the video and describing and helping you to understand the daily life of a North Korean. But before I dig into that, I really want you to understand my daily life was vastly different from Kim Jong-un's daily life. Therefore, my just one single experience do not represent entire 25 millions of daily life. But because I was coming from more common class, not an elite or not a bottom, so you will, I think it's gonna give you some good taste of a general population, how they are living just daily life. So let's go to talking about just weekdays, normal days. I think I will share the time, and then on the weekends that will be helpful. So on the weekdays, as a student, I did go to school. So in the morning around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and the winter time is later 7 a.m. Our towns had called the Inminban, which is like everybody has been associated in that group. So in North Korea, you cannot be individualistic, so everybody is part of some kind of group. And so in the morning, we always are assembled in some kind of a gathering of working together in the mornings. Everybody have to go out and sweeping the like roads, and therefore a lot of times parents would send their kids to go those places because parents have to like prepare for the breakfast, and they would send me or my sister or my father sometimes go out to do this manual work. So in the times when there was electricity was coming, every household had its radios that we cannot turn off. We can turn down the volume, but we cannot turn off the radio. So this radio, you know, makes like singing these things about socialist paradise and about the happiness of the people, all sorts of these propaganda songs. And really getting us into the mood of being a revolutionary that day. So during that time, our Inminbanjang is like head of this our unity in our town comes and asks everyone to join in from somebody in their household. We go out, we gather everyone with everybody else. Sometimes these works are, you know, you're going to the train track. There are stones like in the train track, so we have to like destroy, like break the stones for the train tracks, or we, you know, if there's a flooding, we would go work in the flooding place or sweeping. I mean, all sorts of manual work. That usually continues from 5 to 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. depending on the season. After that, we go home. We all have a breakfast with our families. We have a breakfast around, depending on the family, but my family had a bit later because a lot of other people go to work early, but we didn't have to go that early. So our school was starting before 9 a.m. So we would eat somewhere around like 7:30 to 8, eat very quickly in the morning and run to school by 8 a.m. So in North Korea, there's like no school bus. We all have to walk. I would go to school around 8 a.m. and it would take somewhere 30 minutes to 45 minutes walking to school and arriving before 9 a.m. class. Some schools do start early, but that was, I think, generally when we started. And then once after, in the morning, we have something like 4 classes. Each class takes like 45 minutes. Then once the class ends, there's no like cafeteria in the school. There's never such a thing. You either bring up the bento box, or you just go hungry, or sometimes you go back home to eat. So depending on kids, if they brought food or going home to eat, once that lunchtime overs around 2 p.m., all the class gathers and they send us to different labor places. So in the morning, we do cover studying about the revolutionary history of the dictators and all how they were defeating our enemies, all those brainwashing things, and some like basic math. And that was about the whole education. After, in that afternoon, we all have to wear our like labor clothes and go to helping farmers in the farm, or going to monuments, clean the monuments, or going to train track to pull out those plants, or helping the farmers do the harvest. And once that ends around 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., we go home. And usually my mother, we would help mom to prepare dinner. So we chop the woods. We go bring the water, because we don't have the running water at home. So we would go to the river or somewhere to bring the water home, so we could wash our clothes or wash our feet and face. Then we have dinner around before 8 p.m. in the summer. But in the winter time, we eat way earlier, because we don't have this 24-hour electricity, and having candle is so expensive. It was something so precious, we cannot use candle. The maximum we can use is like some kind of a oil with a thing. It's very like not bright. It smells really bad. It's not good for your lung, but it was the cheapest we do. But even that oil was so precious. Parents would be like, eat quickly and just go to bed. So by the time around like in the winter time, we just go to bed so early. By 5 it's very dark. We eat by 5 and be in bed like 5:30 or 6 p.m. And just look at the stars, and that's how we get the weather. If you see lots of stars that night, that means there's no much cloud, and the next day is not going to be rainy, and the next day is going to be very sunny. So we do know like through a lot of natural ways of guessing the weather, if it's going to be raining or snowing, or it's going to be sunny. We do that, and our day ends. On the weekends it's different. Weekends we do not go to school, so we get up, we eat, be assembled in all those kind of manual labor in the morning. Once that is gone, we come home and we eat breakfast, and then we go somewhere to search for food. So my case, I was always knocking the door on our friends' houses, and now I'm like, people think, now I'm like, when I try to meet my friends, I text them or call them. In North Korea, we didn't have those communication methods, so only way for me to meet my friends is going outside and knocking everyone's door and see whoever was at home that time. In a way, it's like it's such a different universe. Now I'm thinking about it, like if I want to play with somebody, I had to go knock their door and see if they were home. And if they do, I asked to go catch dragonflies together or grasshoppers together. And in the house, we usually have animals like rabbits. Then I usually often go with my friends to mountains or hills to pick up the plants for rabbits. But during that time, I shared my plants with the rabbits. So this is like the thing. When I came to America, I saw these corners where have the salad bar. And Americans, in the menu, there's tons of salad options, right? And I was so offended. I was like, what, this is a rabbit food. This is not what I escaped for. And why are you eating rabbit food for like 10 bucks? It's so expensive. And I do eat salad now. In the beginning, I didn't like this. I did not eat the salad. I was like, oh, I have eaten too much for the lifetime. I don't need to eat any more salad. So that was like on the weekends, I would go to here, some mountains, to look up the plants or things to could eat at home. And then I'm gonna cover now lastly about adult life. So if they're adults, they get picked on this assembly works in the morning. It's like everyone must participate. If they go to work, usually they don't really have a running factory or nothing. So if the men's case, they get to go to work, they drink, they play cards and kill time until in the afternoon, 6 p.m. Then they come home. A lot of men will just keep drinking and come home and beat their wives. And women's case, they have to find things to survive, right? Governments do not provide anything to us. Husbands have to go to work and they cannot be operating in the black market system. So wives have to send their kids to school and they send their husbands to work, and they usually have to go to black market to trade and finding ways to survive. And so this was like very general, common North Koreans' life, daily life looks like. And when I was in Pyongyang, I still so vividly remember every morning, because Pyongyang had a better electricity. Even though we had those radios in the countryside, we don't often use them because of no electricity. Radios don't work. But in Pyongyang, I remember every morning this huge song comes out from every radio, and we all get up the same time. And then everything's uniformity. There's no being individualistic. So we all get up at the same time. We all go to the same work and come home, eat the breakfast at the same time, go to work at the same time. And the radio literally beeps at 12 p.m. and then letting us know it's a lunchtime. And then when the day closes, the literally radio beeps again, like, oh, you had a great day, you all go home now, have an evening with your family and safe journey to your home. So it was like, I still remember those days and how the universe can be, how the countries can be this different. I hope that really helped you to guys understand North Korea a bit better. And I've been recently talking about my libertarian or limited government side. YouTube really has been restricting my ability to monetize it. So I have started Patreon account. It really just helps me to do what I am passionate about, which is spreading words of democracy and freedom and human rights. And your support really means so much to me to continue this work. So please help me to come find me at Patreon. And if not, don't worry about it. This is what I care about, even though YouTube doesn't, it's okay for me. I expected this to happen. There's no surprise in any part. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.